Hello, friends from across the nation and around the world. I'm Martin, and you are listening to Dad's Bedtime Stories. Tonight, we're going to be doing something that many of you have been requesting. One of the most common suggestions I still get for series are for the Cards of Power universe. And the only reason I haven't been doing that many of them is because I wasn't really sure where to go with the Cards of Power universe. We've already gotten to a place where we have deity-level creatures on the moon, and, where do you go from there? Well, I think I've finally answered that question. This morning, the idea came to me. I believe I found a way to continue the series, even though we're already wildly powerful. So tonight will be my attempt at that. It also incorporates ideas I've had from a whole bunch of different people. I've had a lot of requests for Magnus to become deity level. Too many to actually include here, but thank you to everyone who put one in. And a shout out to Oliver and Hudson, who, after a short glance at some of my suggestions, both left me messages on that. Also, a shout out to Ben, who's one of my Patreon supporters, and left me a whole bunch of ideas for the Cards of Power universe. I may get to some of those, in fact, but mostly you just kind of inspired me to keep going with the thing. Now, I actually spent a good part of my morning kind of going over transcripts from past Cards of Power episodes to remind myself where we got to. There's a lot of Cards of Power lore and a lot of things that have happened. As a quick recap, essentially, you've made your way through all of the protected zones. The beginner, intermediate, legendary, mythic, and you even got yourself a spaceship and made it to the deity level zone on the moon. In the last episode in this storyline, you were called back to Earth to fight Dominic the Dingo. Shout out to Dominic, by the way. And I believe we left things off sleeping in the log cabin outside the Australian mythic area after just having captured Dominic the Magical Dingo. And that, my friends, is where we're going to pick things up tonight. Oh, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, if you love Cards of Power, you should pick up my Cards of Power book, which goes through the first 16 episodes of the Cards of Power series. Kids always need something to read, and why not read something slightly familiar? The link to that should be in the description, or you can just search Amazon for Cards of Power by Martin Gage, and it should come up. Now, it's time to close your eyes, get as comfy as you can in that bed, and imagine yourself doing what the kid in the story does. You wake up inside your log cabin. You get out of bed, leave your bedroom, and you're greeted by Magnus, Leaf, and a whole bunch of other dragons hanging out in the living room. Look who's finally up, Magnus says. You head towards the kitchen where Magnus is hanging out with a whole bunch of his siblings. Brainy, Rocky, Techno, and of course their cousin Eliara. Good morning, Leaf says. You want some breakfast? I've whipped something up here. Sure enough, breakfast looks delicious, and you start to dig in. But soon, you're interrupted by a very mysterious, ghost-like figure that appears behind you. Hello, a voice says. You turn around to see, Maddox. Or the projection of Maddox, the digital or magically recorded wizard from the past. You need to come back to the moon base right away. Something very important is happening, Maddox says. I will send a portal." The ghost-like wizard then disappears. You look at Leaf and all of the other dragons. "Well, I guess we better go," you say. The thing is, I kinda have to head home," Leaf says. "But if you need me, just call on the twin teleport card. I'll be there in a second." Okay, Leaf," you say. "It was good hanging out with you again. Safe travels home." You all leave the log cabin, and you call the card back into your card core. Techno, the technological dragon, one of Magnus's brothers, transforms into a larger version of himself. Leaf climbs aboard, and he and the others take off, leaving you and Magnus behind. With a sudden flash of light, a giant portal appears beside you. "Well, Magnus, are you ready for this?" "I think so," Magnus replies, and together you jump and, well, in Magnus's case, fly into the portal. You find yourselves flying through a long, winding tunnel of light before eventually shooting out the other side, which turns out to be in the control center of the moon base. Maddox, the holographic wizard projection, is standing there. "Oh, good. I'm glad you're back. We have a very interesting development." "What is it?" you ask. "Well, the thing is, how do I say this? Well, long ago, when the Wizards' Council was at its height, where many wizards fought and battled deity-level creatures, and where we often used spaceships to travel from place to place, Earth was not the only place where we experimented with magical creatures. Many of those in the Wizards' Council traveled far and wide throughout the universe. They found new planets with interesting creatures and, well, they experimented on them as well. When the card system was developed, it too spread to the outer reaches of the universe. Other cultures, alien cultures that were of these different planets, were shared the technology. And over time, a sort of Galactic Card Federation was formed. Eventually, as you know, insurance companies got involved on Earth. Fighting higher-level creatures like the deity-level ones on the moon was slowly phased out, as it was considered too dangerous, and Earth sort of fell out of that Galactic Card Federation. But the legends always held that a chosen one would one day change that. A chosen one who would rise up the ranks through the mythic area and rediscover this place, the moon base. The legends say that once that happened, the Galactic Card Federation would show up once more. I believe it was all part of some sort of agreement. And, well, for a number of reasons, I believe you are the chosen one they spoke of. The chosen one? The chosen one for what? What exactly am I chosen for? Well, I suppose you are the chosen one to represent Earth, the one who will relink Earth to our galactic partners. And how do we know that's correct? Well, they're sort of on their way. I've just detected a galactic card ship headed here. And what does that mean exactly? Are they going to attack Earth or something like that? Oh, heavens, no. No. If anything, they may want to do battle against you, to test your worth or something like that. You see, my information tells me that while Earth shied away from higher-level creatures, many other societies fully accepted them. There are planets out there fully made of deity-level creatures and, well, beyond. There are card holders who travel from planet to planet collecting these incredibly powerful creatures, and there are tournaments where those who hold them do battle. Okay? So you're telling me I'm some sort of chosen one that's supposed to head back out into the galaxy? Yes, basically. And in order to prepare you to do that, I have a few things that I am to give to the chosen one. Some things we've sort of kept out of the library. Follow me. Maddox leads you over to a wall, an ordinary-looking metal wall. There's a hiss and the wall opens up, revealing, well, some very interesting-looking objects. The main things you will need are, of course, this zip drive. Maddox points to some sort of technological-looking box thingy. What's that, you ask? Well, a zip drive allows a spaceship to travel at incredible speed, zipping from one part of the universe to another. You will need it if you plan to compete with the others. The other thing is a deity-level evolution stone. A stone that should be able to work on any creature, instantly upgrading them to a deity level. We only have one, so I recommend you choose wisely. You instantly look over at Magnus. The choice will be simple. Now, I suggest you get ready before they get here. Right, you say, as you grab the strange mechanical box and the large glowing crystal off of the shelf. First I'll get this to Axe, and then, well, Magnus and I will talk. With the mechanical box in hand, you make your way back to the hangar bay, the place where the large spaceship you used to get to the moon base is waiting, along with the tech axolotl, Axe. When you arrive at the ship, Axe makes his way down the steps. "Hello, how are you?" he asks. We're good, but we just got something that needs to be installed in the ship as quickly as possible." You hold out the device. Axe runs over towards it. This is a zip drive, he says. "I have heard of these. As I have studied the ship, there was much information on such things. I believe I know what to do with it." Okay, then go for it. You pass the high-tech box to the little axolotl, who somehow holds it over his head and runs back up onto the ship. "It should be ready in 10 minutes, he says. "Okay. Well, Magnus, that leaves the evolution stone. Maybe we should go somewhere a little safer to do this, or, well, a little bigger anyways." You head back down the corridors of the base and out to the gigantic airlock which leads to the moon's deity level. The doors to the airlock open up. You walk through and they close behind you. You look around and decide that, well, the airlock might not be the right place to do this. After all, Magnus's mythic level form is already absolutely gigantic. You can only imagine that his deity level will be even bigger. You decide to head out of the airlock, out to the deity level area. As the doors open, you call on some of your other friends to make sure things stay safe. The nine-tailed fox and Dominic, the magical dingo, both deity-level creatures themselves. The cards materialize in front of you from your card core and then reform themselves into a gigantic dingo and a gigantic nine-tailed fox. I need you two to keep guard while we take care of something," you say. The two creatures nod in understanding. Dominic immediately starts to sort of duplicate. Time clones of him, clones from other universes, other possibilities begin to appear around him. Then they sort of shimmer out of existence, or become invisible anyways, and head out to protect the place, while the nine-tailed fox stands tall, each of its tails lighting up with a different element. "Well, Magnus, I guess you should probably turn to your mythic form before we do this," you say. "Oh, yeah, probably." Magnus begins to transform. He glows and he grows, shooting through all of his different evolutions, turning into a tall, standing, human-sized dragon, evolving into his legendary form, and then growing to his mythic form, an absolutely gigantic dragon, dripping with lava. You place the crystal on the ground in front of him, and back away. You activate your tech armor card. It appears in front of your body, glows, and then surrounds your body with high-tech armor. You move backwards a good distance, not sure exactly what to expect. Magnus moves up towards the large crystal, ducks his head down, and places his nose against it. Instantly, the crystal begins to glow. It glows so brightly that you have to turn away. The glow spreads itself through Magnus until his body is entirely lit up by, well, a bright white color. You watch with squinted eyes. Strangely, against all of your expectations, Magnus sort of shrinks. Not exactly what you were expecting. He shrinks down till he's the size of a dragon, roughly the same size as his legendary form. When the glow stops, you see a fairly large black dragon with veins that look like they're full of, well, you're not really sure what it is. They're kind of a bright yellow color, and they give off a lot of light. Whoa, Magnus says. This is amazing. Why are you smaller? You ask. Well, smaller doesn't necessarily mean less powerful. In fact, I feel more powerful than ever. Magnus's veins begin to pulse with a very, very bright light, one that makes you squint once again, as if you're staring at the light from the sun itself. Then, all of a sudden, his entire body turns to plasma, Magnus says. I'm plasma, just like the sun. And sure enough, though you can barely look at him, he does look like he's the sun, or made of the same energy as the sun. And the heat he's giving off in this form is so powerful that you actually have to back away further. Magnus takes a deep breath and unleashes a blast of, plasma energy. It shoots across the sky until it makes contact with the dome that keeps all of the creatures inside. This is amazing, he says, as he slowly turns himself back to a solid. I'm basically a sun dragon, and I can still feel the earth around me. With that, the earth surrounding the dragon turns to lava once again, instantly melting. He practices shooting lava left and right, moving it around, and then instantly solidifying it into what looks like obsidian. I can't imagine too many people in this Galactic Card Federation have a chance against me, he says. Maddox, the holographic representation of an ancient wizard, appears beside you once again. It's time. I need you all in here. Okay, you say. And with that, you recall both the nine-tailed fox and all of the various forms of Dominic the magical dingo. The doors to the airlock open once again, and you and Magnus enter. As the doors to the airlock close behind you, Magnus glows and shrinks back down to his dragonling form. The doors on the other side open up, and you make your way back to the control area where the holographic form of Maddox is waiting. We're getting a transmission. I will put it on the screen, Maddox says. And sure enough, a screen at the center of the control room lights up, showing an image of another ship. A ship full of very human-looking people with skin that's kind of a blue color. Well now, what do we have here? The person who you assume is the captain of the ship says. I heard rumor that Earth had once again created a deity-level card carrier, but I almost didn't believe it. In fact, looking at this kid here, I almost still don't believe it. I think there's only one way to settle this. I challenge you to a duel. You feel your card core activate. Duel suggested. Okay. Well, I accept your duel under certain conditions. I say we go one-on-one and see what happens. Terms accepted. And for the winner, the man asks. Well, the winner gets one card from the loser, you say. Terms set, a voice says from your card core. Perfect. Now, where would you like to do this? You look over to Maddox. Well, there is a battle area already designed. The same place you were tested before you came into the moon base. Sending coordinates now. Got 'em. I'll meet you there. You, Maddox, and Magnus make your way to the ship's docking area. You watch as the roof opens up and a gigantic ship from the Galactic Card Federation lowers itself down. A hatch underneath the ship hisses and opens up. 3 blue-skinned aliens wearing some sort of high-tech battle armor walk down the platform. Now, where are we gonna do this? The man asks. Well, it's this way, Maddox responds, appearing beside a large door. The door opens up, revealing a gigantic room with white walls on every side. I've had the place refurbished for such a purpose. The viewing area is this way. Maddox appears beside another door that also opens up. You, Magnus, and the leader of the other ship make their way into the battle zone, while the other aliens make their way into the viewing center. The blue-skinned man walks across the battleground and stands on the other side. While most of the battle arena, the walls and the ceiling, are clearly surrounded by some sort of high-tech metal, the ground is, well, made of ground. Moon ground, anyways. Well, kid, it's time to see what you got. You watch as the man's card core lights up. A card shoots out in front of him, glowing a bright blue color. Then, with streaks of energy, it swirls through the air and reforms itself into like a giant octopus or squid creature. Maybe even something you might call a kraken. It has 8 tentacle arms, and each one seems to be lit up with a different power. Lightning, fire, earth, air, water, poison, some sort of unknown energy. And the last one looks like it's made of technology. I say you choose your opponent wisely, the man says. You look over at Magnus. You think you can handle this? You ask. Think I can handle this? The question is, can this place handle me? Magnus jumps forward and immediately begins to transform. He glows a bright color and grows to his, deity level size. His veins glow with plasma-like sunlight, and he stares down at the octopus-like creature. Ready, go, the man says, and the octopus attacks, shooting every different element it can at Magnus all at the same time. Magnus just sort of transforms into plasma. As the different attacks hit him, they don't really do anything. They just, they're just sort of absorbed into his body, and somehow they seem to make his body stronger. He glows brighter and brighter with each attack, as if the only thing they're doing is fueling him, being transformed back into plasma themselves. You activate your own tech armor just to protect yourself from the power in front of you. Heat shields activated. Magnus takes in a deep breath and unleashes a plume of plasma energy. The plume of energy strikes the octopus-like creature and blows a hole straight through the thing. It instantly turns to energy and reforms itself into a card. What the man says. His card core activates once again, and a voice says, "Choose your card." His cards suddenly light up on display in the middle of the room. You look through all of them. They're very strange. In fact, you don't really know what most of them are. And, in the end, you decide to choose the one that you've actually seen in action, even though it did lose to Magnus right away. The Elemental Kraken card. You reach out and grab the card. The link to its last card holder is severed, and you place it in your pocket. Well, that really was something. Normally, I might be upset that I was defeated, but just to see that power, the legends about Earth are true, aren't they? Well, kid, you truly are a deity-level card holder, and as such, I'm here to invite you to a deity-level tournament at the Galactic Card Federation headquarters. It takes place in 1 month. And, well, you clearly already have a lot of power, but I suggest you find some more before making your way there. The man hands you a card-like crystal. It's an invitation of sorts that will allow you into the tournament. It also has a map showing you where it is. So, I hope to see you there. He reaches his hand out and you shake it. Yeah, thanks, you say. The man leaves the battle room and you follow behind him. He and the other 2 blue-skinned aliens climb back into their ship. The door to the ship closes, and the ship itself takes off and blasts away from the moon base. Okay, well, I guess I better get some sleep before I head out to this new universe of cards, you say. Magnus, who is transformed back to his dragonling form, flies up and lands on your shoulder. That is a very good idea, Maddox says. You will need to be well rested before you're ready to face the wonders that the universe has waiting. Good luck. You make your way back down the corridor of the moon base to the, bedroom area. You head inside your room, climb into your bed, and pull the covers up over top of yourself. You close your eyes, rest your head on the pillow, and in order to take your mind off of all this new information, you start to focus on your breath, noticing your stomach rise and fall with each breath. And slowly, your mind starts to wander away. as your arms and legs and shoulders sink down deeper into the bed. With each breath, you sink a little more, and with each breath, your mind wanders off a little further to thoughts of new dreams and new adventures to come. Good night, everyone.